So, good morning, everyone. And today we are going to continue where we left off. You remember what was the last question we discussed? And if you know, write in the comment box. Tell me which was our last question. Just give me a second, I'll also check which one was our last question that we discussed. Okay, it was question number 60 that we discussed in our previous class. So now we'll start with the question number 61. I hope everybody is ready and you have your breakfast. I hope everybody had. Now it's time that we should complete at least 20 more questions today, and tomorrow we'll complete this 2023 question paper. It is remember, it is shift first, and we have already discussed 60 questions and almost like 5 hours we have discussed in that uh, in this course. So today we are going to start from 61. Remember to enroll now, because in couple of days we will start this course in our classroom. So just go and look at the description box of the videos, and there you'll find the link to join. And it is very important because until your exam we will be discussing every day at least 10-20 questions, and we'll cover over 2000 plus questions before your exam. So make sure to subscribe, and also, as I told you, we have books that you can download, and also you can order in print version. So we have both ebook and print version. Whichever you think is good for you, you can get it. So we'll start with question number 61. So 61 question says, and it's in your screen, tell me which among the following are written by Roland Barthes. Anyone has idea? And if you know the answer, write in the comment box. Otherwise, wait, we'll discuss. So which among the following are written by Roland Barthes? So in this question, you have to find out which work is written by Roland Barthes. Just give me a second, I'll bring something. Okay, now mouse is ready. So answer says B, mythology, and C, the pleasure of the text. These texts are written by Roland Barthes. And remember the pleasure of the text, and in option there are some confusing work because they have also mentioned that D. Most of the students are confused because of this option. What is an author? because he has written The Death of the Author. You remember we discussed previously in this course. So remember this. What is written by? Mythology by Roland Barthes. The Pleasure of the Text is by Roland Barthes. So here answer is the same. An explanation we are talking about here. Work we know, mythology and the pleasure of the text. So here every work is here are mentioned here and their respective author. So first, Allegories of Reading by Paul D. It is a collection of essays on deconstruction and its relation to literary criticism. And Paul D. Man is one of the important figure in literary criticism. And he is associated with this work, Allegories of Reading by Paul D. Man, and Mythology by Roland Barthes. It is also a collection of essays. Remember, it's a collection of essays where he analyzed the contemporary culture and media through the lens of semiotic and structuralism. And again, another work is by Roland Barthes is The Pleasure of the Text, and it actually explores the sensory and erotic pleasure of reading and the relationship between reader, writer, and text. And some version of Pastoral is by William Ampson. We know William Ampson because of his some of the important work in literary criticism, and this work is about pastoral genre and its literary convention. What is an author? It is by Michel Foucault, and it's an essay on the concept of authorship and its relationship to power, discourse, and literary interpretation. And similar to that, we have The Death of the Author. That's why they have mentioned that option to confuse everyone. So remember, The Death of the Author is by Roland Barthes, and What is an Author is by Michel Foucault. So in this essay, Roland Barthes challenges the notion of authorial intention and arguing for the importance of reader interpretation in literary criticism. So that was our answer. The question was, here the works are mentioned, and in the question they have asked which one is written by Roland Barthes. So there are two works, Mythology and The Pleasure of the Text is written by Roland Barthes. And that is our question number 61. Now we will move to the 62. Tell me which of the following are correctly matched. And if you know the answer, you can write in the comment box. But anyway, Terry Eagleton, we know it's very important figure in historicism, and Walter Benjamin we know for Marxism, and Stanley Fish we know for the reader response criticism, and Jonathan Keller is from New Criticism, and Raymond Williams is also there. So tell me which one is the correct answer. Culture and Society, it's definitely not by Jonathan Keller, it's by maybe Matthew Arnold, or anyway, we'll see the answer in our explanation, and also extra perk would be there. And Raymond Williams, tell me which one do you think is by? We know Stanley Fish, the implied reader is by Stanley Fish. Maybe we'll see the answer. It says it's not. Terry Eagleton, C and D is the correct answer. So remember, C and D is the only option here which is correctly. So Terry Eagleton wrote Criticism and Ideology, and Walter Benjamin wrote Illumination. And here we have the answer, and we have explanation for it. So Criticism and Ideology by Eagleton, and he examines the relationship between literary criticism and ideology. And he argues that all criticism is necessarily political in nature. And he also is associated with term aesthetic autonomy, and argues that all texts are embedded within social, historical, and political context. Another work, which is by Walter Benjamin, is Illuminations, and in this book, which is actually the collection of essays and reflections by Walter Benjamin, covers a wide range of topics, including literature, art. So this is also this work is by Walter Benjamin. Illumination and Criticism and Ideology is by Terry Clayton. So that was our correctly matched option. And we have extra part, which is the other explanation that we were talking. Culture and Society was by Raymond Williams, and this book explore the culture, society, and it focus on historical development. Another work, Literary Theory, a very short introduction, is by Jonathan Kuehler, and it is one of the important book in literary theory, where he has given a very short introduction about the literary theory. So this work, remember, is by Jonathan Kuehler. So the implied reader that I was talking about is actually by Wolfgang Isa. So this is very important term. Sometimes they ask in match the following, and it has been mentioned especially in this set of questions. In 60 question we have already something related to this. Twice we have found. So the implied reader is one of the very important term in criticism. So remember, it is by Wolfgang Isa, and he, according to him, he argues that every text implies a particular type of reader, and that meaning is created through the interaction between the text and the reader. And he has distinguished two types of reader. Remember, the actual reader who reads the text, and implied reader is the hypothetical reader that the text presupposes. So this is one of the very important term that you should remember. Stanley Fish, as we know, is from Reader Response Criticism, and he wrote what? Surprised by Sin. And one of the important work is there a text in this class? So remember this. So we have finished question number 62, and question number 63 is on your screen. Read it carefully, and if you know the answer, write in the comment box. Anyway, so the question says, which among the following are true in the context of methods and methodology in literary research? So what do you think? Context of methods and methodology, where in literary research? So both are identical in nature. Do you think methods and methodology both are similar? Or methods are concerned with how one conduct a given piece of research, and methodology are concerned with how one conduct a given piece of research. And D says methodology are concerned with the perspectives one brings to bear on one's work, and methods are concerned with the perspective one brings to bear on one's work. So tell me, which one do you think is the correct, and which one do you think is closely related to it? So in the answer we have B and D. Only this B is correct and D is correct. So these two statements are correct and the others are not. And we have also explained why others are not following. So B says methods are concerned with how one conduct a given piece of research. So that is our correct one of the correct answers. And another one was methodology are concerned with the perspective of one brings to bear on one's work. We have explanation for it, and in the explanation we have, so these two are the right one, and we have extra part which is the explanation. Both are identical in nature. Methods and methodology are not identical in nature. So that was our first statement, which here we discuss why they are not identical in nature. Because while methods refers to specific techniques or procedure used to collect and analyze data, and whereas methodology refers to broader framework of theory and principle that guide the researcher's approach to the research problem. And the other which was not correct was methods are concerned with the perspective one brings to bear. Actually it was methodology which brings to bear one's work. So this statement is incorrect. And why? Because methods are focused on how research is conducted, while perspective are part of the broader framework of research methodology. So that is our question number 63, which they were asking about methodology and method in research, literary research. Question number 64 is here. According to the English Subject Center report, skills needed for postgraduate work in English include what? So these are option given here, and you have to select which one or ones are the correct. So tell me, English Subject Center report skills needed for postgraduate work in English include what? A, searching skills in library, could be as editorial skills, what do you think? Bibliography skills. So English Subject Center. So I feel like we could go for 3. Peer management skills. Do you think it's English Subject Center somewhere related, or IT skills? Definitely it could not, because it is different one. So anyway, we'll just move to the answer and see. A, B and D is correct. So A, B and D is correct. Which is not correct? Bibliographic skill. So my guess was wrong. I hope your guess was right. So anyway, searching skills in library is included in English Subject Center report, and editorial skills also included in it, and as well as peer management skills. And why? We have the correct explanation. So here, while searching skills in library can be useful for postgraduate work in English, they're not on important skills. They're not the only important skills. The English Subject Center report actually lists range of skills that I have mentioned here. All the list: critical thinking and analysis should be there, research skills including using digital resources, writing and communication skills, and time management and organizational skill. Presentation skills should be there, and another interpersonal skills. So that is our answer for the question number 64. Now we can move to the question number 65, where you have the question: which of the following are possible ways of turning a topic into argument? So just read the option and answer in the comment box if you're there. Otherwise we'll just move to the answer along with the explanation that we have added. So question says, which of the following are possible ways of turning a topic into an argument? An argument, option number 1 is an argument for or against an existing critic or critical position in relation to the author of the group of works one is studying. An argument about the value of a new theoretical approach to a text or a set of texts. An argument about some historical or literary historical aspects of literature. D says an argument showing how a particular theme or concept is not at all related to a group of text. E says an argument about the significance of only well-known author or work. So here are the options. We'll just move to the answer, and in the answer it says A, B and C are correct. A, in how we turn a topic into an argument for against an existing critic in relation to the author or a group of work one is studying, and argument about the value of a new theoretical approach to a text or a set of text. That is quite correct. So an argument about some literary historical aspects of literature. These three are correct, and we have some explanation for it. When turning a topic to an argument, it is important to consider how to create a focused and debatable claim. So when you have a topic in your research, we make argument for a topic. It should be which should focus and on debatable claim. So one possible way of doing so is to argue for or against an existing critic or critical position in relation to the author of the work. A group of works being studied. So another approach is to argue about the value of new theoretical approach to text or set of text. So all three options are explained here. As I told you, you'll get the PDF to read more and keep it with you. And we have extra puck. Why the other was not important? Because in contrast, it is not effective to argue that a particular theme or concept is not at all related to a group of texts, as this does not provide a clear and debatable claim. Similarly, arguing about the significance of only well-known author work may not be productive if the argument is not focused and debatable. So that is our question number 65. Question number 66 is in your screen, and you have to match which one is written by which poet. So in list 1 we have the name of the poets, and in the list 2 we have poems of these poets. So remember, you have to match and find the correct options. Tell me, we know Sri Aurobindo wrote Savitri. Kamala Das wrote what? Is it the other poems? And we have here the correct answer. A for 4, B 1 and C 2nd and 3rd. We'll just know from here clearly. So as we know, Sri Aurobindo wrote Savitri, and Savitri is a philosophical poem, and that narrates the story of Savitri and Satyavan from the Hindu epic Mahabharata. The poem explores a couple of themes, including spiritual evolution and transformation. B, we have Kamala Das, who wrote other poems, which is the collection of her poems. And in Kamala Das, as we know, is one of the important poet in Malayalam and also in English. And as we know, her theme usually explores love, sexuality and identity. We have Pilal, C. Pilal, and this poet wrote Calcutta, a long poem, and this poem portrays the city of Kolkata, formerly Calcutta, through a series of vivid and evocative images and some themes which explores our history, culture and people. Toru Dutt wrote a sheaf of gleaned in French. As we know, Toru Dutt was also related to French and also Sanskrit and other poem. If you read about Toru Dutt, you will find that most of her poems are based on this French, Dutch, Spanish, other. Anyway, so she also wrote both English and French. That's why the answer is the sheaf gleaned in French. So remember, if we know a little bit about poets or authors biographical background, we might get the answer as well if we guess smartly. So anyway, we have now question number 67, and 67 is also about matching particular writer to the respective work. So tell me which one is the correct answer. Walt Whitman, Australia, as we know, wrote A.D. Hope, that we know. A Far Cry from Africa is by could be by Derek Walcott. Beat Beat Drums is by Whiteman, and Australia, as we know, A.D. Hope. So a Howl we know is by Allen Ginsberg, because why we know Howl is a very important poem because of the Beat generation, and Allen Ginsberg was associated with that movement. And in the answer we have the explanation, and answer is that, and in the explanation we'll know better. So Beat Beat Drums is a poem by Whiteman, and it was published in Drum Taps around 1865, and it describes the sound of drums and bugles calling soldiers to battle. And Australia is by A.D. Hope, and this was published in 1958, and it reflects the natural beauty and vastness of the Australian landscape, and also about the country's history and colonization. And we have see A Far Cry from Africa. It is a poem by Walcott, and as we know, Derek Walcott is a Caribbean poem, and who also won Nobel Prize for Literature is 1992, and the poem was first published in 1962. So this is one of the important poem. Again, we have Howl. Howl we know is by Allen Ginsberg, and it is one of the important poet in the Beat generation. And this poem was published in 1956, and the poem usually deals with the theme of sexuality, drug use, and counterculture rebellion. And the poem is structured as a series of howl or cries of pain and anguish, and is a powerful indictment of the conformist value and repressive social norms of 1950s America. So that was our question number 67. We have now 68, and in the 68 question you have to match again, and here are some set of quotes, and it asks from where it was taken in the list second, and you have to find the answer. So corn what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day. It is from which text, which play by Shakespeare? Is it Othello or King Lear, Macbeth, or the Hamlet? So you have to tell which one is the correct. When sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions. I'm a man more sinned against the sinning. But I will wear my heart upon my sleeve, for doors to pack at, I'm not what I am. So you have to find all these quotes from which play it was taken. And in the answer, we have A3. In the explanation, we'll know better. So corn what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day. So it's kind of couplet, and this quote is from Macbeth. Macbeth, and it was spoken by Macbeth's right hand man Angus, and means that time passes regardless of what is happening, even during the most difficult moments. And in the second quote, that quote says, when sorrows come, they come not in single spies, but in battalions. And this quote is from Hamlet by William Shakespeare, and it is spoken by King Claudius, who is reflecting on the trouble that have befall him, and he suggests that bad things often happen in groups rather than one at a time. And quote number C, I'm a man more sinned against than sinning. And this quote is from King Lear by Shakespeare, and it is spoken by the main character King Lear, and he has been wronged more than he has wronged others. D says, but I will wear my heart upon my sleeves for doors to peck at. I'm not what I am. So this quote is from Othello, and it is spoken by Iago, who was antagonist in the play, who was evil character, and he suggests that he will appear one way while actually being another. So these were quotes from Shakespeare's different plays. And here the question number 69, again we have the match the following. Same, the quote is there and you have to find from which plays it was taken. And remember, these are all contemporary plays, so we have to find which one is the correct answer. You can't eat the orange and throw the peel away. A man is not a piece of fruit. And which one do you think it was taken from? Is it from Death of a Salesman, Look Back in Anger, A Doll's House, and Man and Superman? Liberty means responsibility. That is why most men dread it. Nobody thinks, nobody cares, no beliefs, no conviction, and no enthusiasm. Just another Sunday evening. Our home has been nothing but a playroom. I have been your doll wife, just as at home I was Papa's doll child. So of course it is talking about some doll thing. So it could be Nora talking to her husband in the play A Doll's House. So D का second होना चाहिए. So in which one we have? Only fourth option we have. So that can be our correct answer, and of course it is the correct answer. And in the explanation we have the quote and also which quote is taken from which plays, and also their author, and along with which character it was spoken. So remember this quote, you can't eat the orange and throw the peel away. A man is not a piece of fruit. So it is taken from Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller, and it was spoken by Willy Loman, and it expresses that a person cannot be used up then discard like the peel of an orange. Question number C says, in the quote, remember this quote, nobody thinks, second one. Liberty means responsibility. That is why most men dread it. And this quote is taken from Man and Superman by George Bernard Shaw, and that suggests that the true freedom comes with the responsibility of making choices and being accountable for one's choice, one's actions. So again, C number is here. Quote number third we have, nobody thinks, nobody cares, no beliefs, no convictions, and no enthusiasm. Just another Sunday evening. So it's like similar, simple talk. And this quote is from the play Look Back in Anger by John Osborne. And in the fourth one, in D option, we have, our home has been nothing but a playroom. So as we said, it was about it was in the play A Doll's House by Ibsen, and it was spoken by Nora, and it illustrates her realization that he has been living a life as a plaything for others rather than as an independent person with it. Which is anyway. So now we have moved to the question number 70. So today we were a little bit quite fast. We have covered 10 questions in just half an hour. So question number 70 is on your screen, and tell me again, we have to match, and in the list one there is particular associated subject, and we have the name of the critic and theorist or philosopher regarding to the each concept. So you have to match the following. And diaspora space is by who? Dasein, we know, is by Heidegger, and Soja is about, he actually first mentioned about a space. So could be diaspora space, could be Edward Soja. And we have anthropology, some subject. So we have to match the correct, and if you're there you can write in the comment box or wait for the answer. So answer is here, and in the explanation we'll know better. Sorry, my mic is different place. So here in the screen you have the explanation, and you have to just look at it, read it if you can. Anyway, anthropology is by, this particular field of study is associated with Claude Lévi-Strauss, and he is a French anthropologist, and he had made some significant studies in the field of structural anthropology. And some of the important terms that he has coined, like the elementary structure of kinship and the savage mind. Again, B number is there. Postmodern geography field is by Edward Soja. So Soja was an American geographer and a theorist who made significant contribution to the field of postmodern. Some of his major works is Third Space. Told you Third Space is by Edward Soja, and then we have other people who, like Homi Bhabha and all, discussed it later. And diaspora space, again something space related to it, that's why I got confused with it, and it could happen to anyone. And this term is associated with Avatar Bra. So Bra is a British sociologist and who has written on issue of migration, diaspora and identity. Some of important works is some of our important works include Cartographies of Diaspora, which is Contesting Identity, this is full title, and Global Futures, Migration, Environment and Globalization. And in the D we have Dasein, and that is by Martin Heidegger. And Heidegger, we know, is a German philosopher who has made significant contribution in the existential. So when we talk about Heidegger, you should remember the existentialism is one of the important terms that he has associated with, and he's best known for the concept called Dasein. So remember, all these is very important terms. And now we have finished question number 70. Now we'll just move to the question number 71, and tell me again, we have to match the following. So in the list one we have the name of the works, and then the second we have associated critic regarding to particular work. So anyway, so in that option you have to choose the correct answer. So the implied reader, again this is third time that they have asked something related to the implied reader. So in the option C we have the implied reader is by who? Wolfgang Iser, that we have been discussing. Is there a text in this? So that is by Stanley Fish, that we know. And the poetics of prose, can you guess who could be the answer? So if we know two, we can just find the other. So here C, the implied reader, which one matches? C first. So here we have C in most of the answers, so that could be quite difficult. We can just eliminate one, we are left with the three. Again, we know is there a text in this is by Stanley Fish. So D third. So we have like D and third only in one, so 2 could be the answer. We'll just move, and the answer is here in the explanation. We'll know better in the particular work. So the first one says the Poetics of Prose by Todorov. So option number A, the work number A, we have is by Todorov. The work is the Poetics of Prose, and that explores the difference between poetry and prose, examining the ways in which meaning is constructed in each form. B number, we have the Structuralist Poetics. It is by Jonathan Keller, and it explores the ideas and methods of structuralism. C, we have, the next one is the Implied Reader, is that we have already discussed, is by Wolfgang Iser. Is there a text in this? Is by Fish, and it is a collection of essays that critique the dominant method of literary analysis at the time, arguing for a more reader-centered approach to understanding literature. So question number 72 is in your screen, and you have again particular work is there, and you have to find the critic related to it. In the first list we have the name of the philosopher here, philosopher, poet, critic, whatever you can say, and in the option we have related works. So in the and here you have to find the correct match. So as we know, we'll just go and then we'll just discuss about something here, and then we'll move to the answer. So Plato, as we know, is related some about dialogues in schools, remember? So Plato is the one who formed Symposium. We know Shidley wrote Apology, so could be no, it is certain that it is written by Sidney, Apology of Poetry. And Shelley wrote Defense, so Defense of Poetry. And Rhetoric is by Aristotle. So it was quite easy. So based on that, we can just select the correct answer. So D, we'll just go A second is only in the fourth option, so that is our correct answer. And we'll just move to the explanation. And Plato's Symposium is a philosophical text that explored the nature of love, desire. So Symposium is related to Plato. Aristotle wrote Rhetoric, which is a treatise on the art of persuasion. And P.B. Shelley's Defense of Poetry is a critical essay in which he argues that poetry is a powerful force for social and political changes or change. He believes that poetry has the ability to inspire people to strive for a better world, and that it can help to create more just and humane society. Philip Sidney wrote Apology, and it is actually reply to what Stephen Goshen, School of Abuse. So this is a he defends poetry against its critic, and who was the main critic there, and it was Stephen Goshen. So that was our question number 72. Now we'll just move to the question number 73, where it again asked us to match the following, and in first we have associated writer and author or critic, theorist related to it, and in the list second we have the work, and we have to match. We know The Sacred Wood is by T.S. Eliot, and The Verbal Icon, we know The Well Wrought Urn is by Clint Brook, The history of Western philosophy could be by Bertrand Russell. But anyway, first we'll have B4. So B4 is only in the first option, so this will be our correct option. In the answer, in explanation, we'll just see quite clearly here that Bertrand Russell wrote the history of Western philosophy, and T.S. Eliot wrote Sacred Wood, which is actually the collection of essays on literary criticism and aesthetics. So in the book, Eliot discusses the nature of poetry, the relationship between tradition and individual talent, and the role of critic in evaluating literary works. And the verbal icon is by W.K. Wimsatt, and we know it's a very important work, and it explores the concept of literary language and its relationship to meaning. And the Well Wrought On, that we know, it is by Clonthbrook, and it is also a collection of poetry, collection of essays on poetry that explore the relationship between form and meaning. So we have already matched almost 538 question, and now we have question number 74, and here again we have important concept in criticism, and in the list second is associated critic related to that these concepts. So we have to match the following. So we know negative capabilities is about John Keats, everybody should know, and exemplistic is by Matthew Sweetness and Legit. Exemplistic is by, I think, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and dissociation of sensibility, we know, is by T.S. Eliot. So based on that we can find the answer. A, concept A, negative capability, is by John Keats. So A ka 4 we have in option 2, we can eliminate. B says sweetness and light, that is by Matthew Arnold. So B, we have one anywhere. So we are left with question option number 4. So that would be our correct answer. And in the explanation, we'll just discuss this concept a little bit closely. And negative capability, as I told you, is by John Keats, and it was term that he discussed in a letter to his brother in 1870, where he described it as the ability to tolerate uncertainty and the mysterious without resorting to oversimplification, explanation, or absolute knowledge. And Sweetness and Legit is by Matthew Arnold, and in this phrase he actually describes the goal of cultural criticism, and in that which appreciate beauty and the lead better lives. Exemplistic is in actually this is from Literary Biographia by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and it actually describes the power of imagination to unify and combine different elements into a single integrated whole. And we have dissociation of sensibility, where T.S. Eliot discusses in where the metaphysical poets, and it actually describes a separation of thought and feeling in 17th century poetry. Eliot argues that the poetry of Donne and his contemporaries is marked by dissociation of sensibility. So these are very important concept, and we know what is the answer. So now we have finished something like 310 question. This one was right that we have discussed here. We have discussed 14 questions in this class, and we'll try to cover 1, 2, and 4, 6 more questions, and then we'll wind up the class, and tomorrow we'll finish the rest of the questions. And in our and after that we can just have all 100 questions in one class to just revise what we have studied so far. So in the question number 75 we have again some important character in African literature, and here is the associated work. You have to find these characters and where they have appeared, and here is the option that you have to choose. So if you know the answer, you can write in the comment box, or I'll just move into the explanation. So Munira is a character which appeared in Petals of Blood by Ngugi wa Thiong'o, and this Munira is a young woman from the rural village of Ilmorag who moves to the city to pursue a better life. But what happened? This Munira, who is intelligent and independent woman, who eventually involved in the political struggles of her country. So Munira represent hope, resilience for many other characters in the novel. So Inuigo is actually a protagonist from where The Joy of Motherhood by Buchi Emecheta. And Ego is a traditional Nigerian woman who is married off to a man she barely knows at a young age. And Ego is determined to have children, but her struggles with infertility and the pressure of motherhood take a toll on her. She is a complex character who grapples with the challenge of balancing tradition and modernity. And again we have another character, Ikimfuna, and as we know, it is one of the important character in Chinua Achebe's work Things Fall Apart. And as we know, he's a young boy from a neighboring village who is taken in by the protagonist Okonkwo, and Ikemfuna quickly becomes a beloved member of Okonkwo's family. But that was not his representation in the work. It was, but his fate is sealed when he is chosen as a sacrificial victim, and he was eventually was killed in that. So Ikimfuna is a symbol of the tragic consequences of cultural classes and misunderstandings. Again, Maureen is a character in the Godima's July's People. And why she is important? Because she seeks refuge with her black servant July during a time of political turmoil in South Africa. So these are one of the important characters in African literature. And in question number 76, we have finished 10 questions related to match the following. Now we have chronological order. So in that way, we'll just find which one is the correct option here. So here now you have, if you have really good knowledge, the history of British literature, it will be like walking in. So what I was trying to say, that it's very easy if you know the history. But anyway, if you have little bit knowledge about the order of the work, you will also find these type of questions very easy. So we'll just move. So here are the works, and we have to find which one has been written first. So Paradise Lost, we know, is by John Milton, and The Wasteland is by T.S. Eliot. So of course it will be before Paradise. Sorry, Paradise Lost will place before The Wasteland. And Hero and Leander is by Christopher Marlowe, right? Anyway, and Lycidas we have, and Mask of Camus. This is a mask. So in the answer, we'll just check. B is the first one, Hero and Leander. And can we have, sorry. Okay, so in the explanation, we'll know. Hero and Leander is by Marlowe, which was published in 1593. Mask of Camus is by Milton, and it is a masque written in 1634. In 1593, Hero and Leander, that's why it's first, and Mask of Camus 1634. Lycidas is also by Milton, which published in 1637. So here you could make some mistakes, but the later is, and in the beginning it's easy. So first and three would have been easy. Here most of the students will make mistakes. But anyway, Paradise Lost, published in 1667. So these are actually very important work also that we have to remember. And as we know, The Wasteland is somewhere around 1920s. So 1922. So here we have the chronological order of the work. Now question number 77 we have. It's in your screen. Again, we have to arrange this in chronological order, but with the perspective of their years of birth. So tell me who came first. Seems like E could be first because John Donne comes first. That's why we can eliminate answer number 4. Second, who do you think came first? Robert Browning or Rudyard Kipling? Tell me. Well, because he's Victorian, right? Robert Browning. And Rudyard Kipling is also Victorian, but late Victorian. So we can just move E. Then we have B. John Masefield. Do you know which age he is associated with? So E, again B. So E and B, we can eliminate this one, A, and then we could have A. So these two are the similar. Now we have confusion here. Which one came last? And in the answer, John Donne, we know, Robert Browning, Rudyard Kipling, A. Houseman. So who's the last? John Masefield, who born 1878 to 1967. And we already know about them a little bit, so we don't have to read all this. We'll just know John Donne, metaphysical poem, and he explores something, metaphors, paradoxes, and intellectual wit. Robert Browning, we know, he's well known for his dramatic monologue. Rudyard Kipling was Victorian, and he celebrated British imperialism and the value of British Empire. A. Houseman, he actually known for his elegiac poems about unrequited love and the transience of life. We have John Masefield, we know him as a war poet, I think, and he was a poet laureate, United Kingdom in 1930. That's why he's a very important figure. Now we have question number 78 in your screen, and you have to find again the chronological sequence, and it is all about Indian literature, and which come we know Raja Mohan's wife is the first one. When you start reading about Indian literature, you will find the first work Raja Mohan's wife. So A is our first, and it seems like A is in every option. And again, second could be either Kantampura or Untouchable. So tell me which one you will go for. So C and D. Here, if you find the correct, it will be your answer. So anyway, we'll just move to the answer, and A, D, C, B is the correct. A, D, C, B. So A, Rajmohan Rai. Second, the Untouchable. Then Kantampura. Then A Bend in the River. And at the end, we have Distant Drum. We have explanation here. All the order has been and who wrote. So Rajmohan's wife was published in 1864, and it is by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. Kantampura, as we know, by Raja Roy. Untouchable, Mulk Raj Anand. A Bend in the River, Manohar Malgonkar, and Distant Drum is again by Manohar Malgonkar. So this is here we have the little bit about. So as we know, Rajmohan's wife is one of the earliest novel in Indian English, and it tells the story of a young woman named Matangini, who becomes Rajmohan's wife. And Kantampura, it is a novel about Indian freedom movement in a small South Indian village called Kantampura. And this novel is narrated by an older woman, and it tells the story of Murthy, a young man who becomes a follower of Gandhi's philosophy. So Kantampura is related to Gandhi's philosophy. That's why it's important. And it has been asking previously, but recently they have not been asking about Gandhi in Kantampura. But anyway, only we get order these days. So mostly what they ask in net these days is literary criticism, theory, and other related topics, not but anyway, we'll get 4 to 5 questions from Indian writing. So Untouchable, we know, is by Mulk Raj Anand, and it is a story about Bakha, who is lower caste, who belongs to the lower caste system, and this novel talks about his struggles for social justice. And A Bend in the Ganges is by Manohar Malgonkar, and it is set in India's independence and the partition of India and Pakistan. Distant Drum is by Manohar and it is talking about, here it tells the story of an English officer named Captain Rodney Savage, and is a relationship with the people he meets during his military campaign. So this is question number 78. Now we'll move to the question number 79, which is in your screen, and you have again arrange chronological order for each. So here are the options, and you have to arrange it chronologically, and these all are by Charles Dickens. So you have to find which one is the correct. We know Pickwick was the first that he started his career. So Pickwick paper should be first, which is C, only in one option. So easy, it was easy. You can answer quickly. And we have explanations, and here are the list of the work and the publication of the dates. So it was not like publishing in one volume, but it was a set of no. Uh, so it was like bigger story in episodes and all. So Oliver Twist is there. Dombey and Sons. These are his correct chronological order of the works. Question number 80 is in your screen. No, I think 79, right? Oh, this one is done. Question number 80, which will be our last question, and tomorrow we'll finish the rest, and also we'll just revise all 100 questions. So tomorrow it's gonna be a long class and you have to be there. Whatever we have studied, we'll just revise everything in one class. And remember to join the course as soon as possible, so you'll get so many things. You'll get this kind of videos, and also we'll be discussing together all the questions which has been asked in net, and over 2000 questions. So arrange the works in the, again we have to arrange the order of the work. So here are some of the work are here, and we have to find the answer. So we know the shoemaker's holiday and a woman killed with kindness is from the somewhere near Shakespeare's time, Shakespeare contemporaries. So in that, and also the double dealer is from I think Dryden's time. Anyway, we'll just see the answer. So it is, here is the order. The shoemaker's holiday 16, which is Shakespeare's time, and again second, a woman with killed with kindness. Here some order is missing. 16 not 3 also, as I told you. So that's why it was very confusing, because the span, I mean the gap between these two works is only 2 years. So that's why we had some confusion. Anyway, the dealer is somewhere in Dryden's time, and it is by William Congreve, and which actually is the Comedy of Manners. And again, the Conscious Lovers, which was published in 1722, and it is by Richard Steele, which was performed in 1722, and John Bull's Other Island, which is recent. So John Bull's Other Island is by George Bernard Shaw, and it was published in 1904. So that's our previous year question paper. Only 20 is left, and we know only 10 question is easy, because not easy, I mean it'll be finished quickly, because it's all about reading comprehension and criticism that we have to find. And 10 more is there, which will be based on statements. So only 20 questions are left, and I hope I'll see you tomorrow, and then we'll discuss the rest of it. Remember, if you haven't joined it, please do join as soon as possible, because after this class we'll only give I don't think we'll be live again. We'll be live only in the course. So make sure you join, and if you don't want this class, we have other options, which is book that you can buy all 4 volume in one set, and it has all 2000 plus question explained. And for more information, you can just WhatsApp me, and my number is there in the description box, and also we have a link to join this course as well. So make sure, and I really want to see you there in the class, and together we'll solve 2000 plus question. And when you enter the classroom, you'll be very confident, and you will have more advantage than the others, because you will have 2000 plus question in your bag, and you know what kind of questions UGC might ask. So you'll have the upper hand, and I really want to see you there. And for now, we'll just wind up the class, and I'll see you tomorrow and we'll finish the class. Thank you very much. Bye bye and have a good day.